We'll call the meeting to order, 7:30 Animal Services, November 21st, 2023. Go to roll call.
Cahill. Desart here. Eckhoff.
Here.
Garcia.
Here.
Krajewski.
Here.
Rutledge.
Here.
Okay, we'll have a public comment. They may sign in.
No public comment.
Okay. Chairman's report. Only thing to report is you see the construction going on. All the vehicles over there, the ground being moved.
Look at the smile on her face.
I'll move on to number 5, our approval of our minutes and motion to approve our
So moved.
October 17th.
Second.
Any questions, additions, corrections, deletions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. What are procurement items? We're going to motion for 23-3746.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Move on to 6B, 23-3529. In a motion. For that.
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments on this? Sure.
I didn't see this in the packet, but I'm just wondering, is 23,000 pretty much the same as last year, or is it higher?
Yeah,
lower?
Spay Illinois is one of our biggest proponents of like talking to their clients about our program. So we tend to see a higher number of invoices coming from them than other vets. But this program is also open to all veterinarians, even the ones that are slightly outside.
But for our cost, is 23 about the same as last year? Okay, thank you.
What's the number? About 75,000 is about. what
About that,
goes-
yeah.
Mhm. So it's $10 for every dog or cat, or is it cat?
Dog or cat,
Or cat.
yeah, either one.
So the state requires if any of them that aren't spay or neuter they have to pay an extra $10 for their vaccines, and that goes into the pet population fund that is used for low income people. So we round up about 75,000 a year. Pardon?
I say I'm going to want to talk about that in a minute.
Well, it's a state thing, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not opposed to
I
the.
will say
fund.
people really appreciate it, the
Mhm.
gratitude we see when people get a voucher that's 100% covered.
The thing when looking at it a few years ago, that was just, my boggling was how many people that were on that program had 3 or 4 animals that were being brought in to use the population fund. So
Laura, you just brought up another question. So you said that it's a free voucher, but isn't it $10?
So we fund a lot of that out of our own
Right,
general operating budget.
but there's a
Yes.
$10 for every animal
That's
fee
added to the rabies tag.
Yeah, so there's.
for spay and neuter?
So if your dog is not
not.
and you get it vaccinated, then you have to pay an extra $10.
Okay, I just
So,
want to make sure. I
yeah, and then
understand.
that $10 then goes into a set aside fund by the state statute that is used then for low income people that want to bring their animal in to get spayed or neutered, and then we cover the cost of it. I think we added like microchipping.
We
to it.
do, so we fund out of our budget also microchipping, a full vaccine package and some diagnostics. And then we cover the spay or neuter 100%. And it's a good opportunity, just remind our committee, especially because it's been a while. We funded 100%. Some other places give you like a $15 off coupon. We
Gotcha.
really want to make sure our residents are taking advantage of.
And how do you
getting
get the
their
word
pets.
out?
We do some social media stuff, but a lot of it is at the vets.
Okay,
And then social services talks about it.
like community services?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then if you look at I haven't seen it in years, but the list of each facility, I mean, there's some that know about this program because it seems like there's a few that we give an awful lot of money to take advantage of the program with their clients out. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Last, we'll move on to 6C ASCO 002-23. I need a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And move on to our grant items. I get a motion for FIR 0273.
Second.
Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Move on, last one, 7B, our grants. I get a motion for the extension.
So moved. Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And move on to our budget transfers. I get a motion for our transfer 23-3739.
So moved. Second.
Any questions or comments on this one? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Administrative update, Laura?
So yes, construction is underway. I have a
Yeah.
smile on my face.
Yeah.
They are moving really quickly too. I may have shared this before, but we are still on track for like a mid-June addition completion, move in, and then they're hoping early to mid-October, complete occupancy in the whole space.
Weather can
Wow.
slow things down.
It could, yeah. I mean, we've already lost a couple days, but this team has been really great about communicating where we're at each week. We have weekly meetings. We're working with RWE. Our facilities team has been phenomenal, just kind of ushering Dr. Hannick and I through this whole process. We're not experts in this space, and they've really been making sure that
Assuming NICOR issues taken care of.
NICOR issues have been taken care of, yes.
Did that guy do it right? Did he get on it right away?
Yes, he did. Thank you. Yes. So,
Thanks,
and
Senator Kern.
just to go back, I gave everybody a handout. There's a memo that was drafted, just giving a little bit more detailed explanation as to why we have this increase in our contract. Really the three big things were, we added some items that were not in the original scope of bidding out, because we have one chance to get this building right. And one of those things is also redoing the existing roof that was not originally in scope. And we're hopeful that we can do solar down the road. So we are also spending a little extra money to make sure we get the right roof in place so that we could potentially have solar panels.
That's gotta be a big ticket.
It is a big ticket, yes, yeah. And then with the Department of Transportation no longer doing their project there was a lot of site coordination between our project and their project. So with that going away, we have some increase, especially electrical equipment, all those costs. And then, as you guys know, that $4.5 million donation that we got, they only had one ask, and it wasn't to name the building after them. They wanted a real life room, which is a real life room, which is that space where if an animal is really stressed in their kennel, we've replicated like a living room type situation that's quiet and away from. So we'll be putting like a couch in there
They use
and a
it at
coffee
the office.
table.
Yeah, right.
Grant's gonna be working out of there, it sounds like. But that was not in the original scope when they were bidding out the project. And it is, we have that large conference space, and then we come off of, there's like what was like the pavilion. We have that outdoor space that's covered, and then the real life room is at the other end. So it's separate from the main building, so it's quiet. It's got its own washroom. It will outfit it so it's like home, and that can be where some of those really stressed animals go.
That's a great idea. I've
Yeah.
never
Get
heard
away
of
from
such
the
a thing.
kennels.
Wow.
But those were the three really big pieces that really needed to be back in here and why we've got that increase. So if there's no other questions about the
On that
building,
electrical stuff, is ComEd charging us for doing a lot of that work?
I believe we do have some utility costs. I've got Tim on the phone. too.
Yeah, the
The
electrical,
line share is the switchgear. The other biggie that we're doing, we're really happy about is the campuses has 3 different feeders that feed the campus. Only one of them go to animal services. When we're done, we're gonna have 2.
Yeah, but my question is
One
it,
feeder done, we can switch over to the second feeder.
but my question is ComEd charging us to do this work, or is this something we just have in these private contractors do?
It's a combination of, it's a private contractor. The
Yeah.
common equipment itself is most of it we actually rent from them. But we prefer to rent it from them because it was a catastrophic problem. They will pull it off the yard. We don't have an inventory.
So I'll give my question, so
so,
ComEd is.
so I will, the vast majority of the electrical work will be done by our contractor. We will coordinate with ComEd, but the vast majority are
Is
on
there any
in-house
any
ourselves.
fee from ComEd? That's what I want to know.
Is there any fee from ComEd? I'm sure they will have something for the disconnect or the reconnect. I'm sure there will be a component.
Just let me know.
Yeah, that's a ways away, but yes, there will be a component that ComEd, we get charged from ComEd.
Okay, yeah, I just want to know how much what that is. Thank you.
And then also, we're now finally under 200 animals in the building, so that's
Your
great.
cats flew out the door last
We had a
weekend.
phenomenal adoption event on Saturday. We strategized to try to do something ahead of the Thanksgiving holiday, and we did half off adoption fees, and we just had a great response. So, and we still have kittens in foster in the pipeline. They haven't slowed down, but we're hopeful to get the majority of those animals adopted before the holidays. And we're really trying to keep our population low so that we can be flexible as the construction is happening, if we need to move out of a particular room. Guinea pigs, still a problem this year, but we're doing our best to try to get those out too. So, yeah, any questions?
All right, old business, I guess informational only, 10A and 10B. Motion to approve these for informational.
So moved.
Second. Want to talk about any of these, Laura?
Sure, so we are working with DuPage Animal Friends to aggressively fundraise, so we don't have to take out this loan. DuPage Animal Friends has also hired a fundraising professional who is going to help get contracted with them for the next 12 months so that we don't have to tap into this loan.
Is that for like a capital campaign or is that for the gala?
It's for all of it. So they are taking a big chunk of gala work off of their plates, mostly when it comes to, I think, some organizational pieces, some helping with soliciting sponsors and large donors. Friends has a very large goal for the gala. They're looking to get 600 people in the door.
What, do you have a date?
It's April 12th.
You know, I talked to, as I said, I talked to Stephanie and she and I were talking about a really impactful host or MC.
Yes.
And also she's doing the dueling pianos because music has been more part of galas. And so I did on Thursday, I did ask, do you know who Stephen Holt is?
Yes.
Yes, I did ask
Oh,
him.
wonderful. Thank
He
you.
didn't say no.
Okay. We'll see if he's available. Yeah.
He's
if
very
having-
charming. He's
Having
great.
an impactful host is really, it makes a big difference.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're trying to make it a really,
And if he says no, I'll just ask Lester Holt.
There you
modern, right?
go.
Yeah.
Well, I worked with him back in, God knows, when I worked in TV
No.
a while ago,
It
Rachel.
is.
Yeah. You know, this project is such an important part of what the county provides our residents and pets.
Absolutely.
I would love, nothing would make me happier than to see full county board participation at it. It's such an important thing and not, I mean, really mostly privately funded. And that's such a wonderful thing. So if we can support Friends in their effort to make sure we don't have to tap into this loan. that
Well,
would
and
be
that's
phenomenal.
why it's so important to get this fundraising organization to start coming up with flyers, like a save the date, save the date, save the date,
Yes.
save the date. And then here it comes, buy your tickets. I mean, I'm happy to put that all over my social media.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am too.
But we need to start,
They should have that out shortly.
So, good,
Yeah,
good,
They
good.
had a planning meeting the other day.
Their goal's 300K.
Yes. Yeah, for the gala.
300K, that's it?
Just for the gala. Oh, and if that's
Because
it,
there's
then
a lot
yes,
of
we
costs
should,
in there.
we should definitely raise more. I'm never opposed to that, so.
It's not a bad thing.
I'm excited. I think. it's
I
gonna
am
be
too,
fun.
I am too. And then, yeah, and our hope too is, part of funding this project was using up a significant portion of our reserve fund, and we want to make sure we're not doing that. So the more we can raise, the more that it means that we don't have to tap into our reserves. And part of what this consultant is also helping with is capacity building, because we know this is going to be a more expensive facility to run in the future. How do we increase our fundraising capacity and then maintain that so that it's not just a one-time shop for the building?
Can we re-look into this? Because I still haven't seen anything except you guys tell me no. But the trading for services is now passed. I mean, I was looking to try to have services traded in that construction for the naming rights on the building,
Mhm.
or at least the individual cages or whatever the dollar amount was. And I guess legal said we can't do that, which I don't necessarily believe. But again, future services, like the people that get the pet food, we get it from, where do we get it from?
We Hills.
Which
That's
is
like
like-
those people
Which is
sponsor.
like, well, it's like
People
25,
sponsor.
it's like $25,000 a year, so they give, I mean, it's
They can
product, they
sponsor
give
for
us,
10
well, they
grand.
just give us the product for free. And we, in lieu of putting their name on one of those suites in there, which again, I know you guys allegedly, I haven't seen a write-up of it, I just been told no.
We
But,
should have all of our vendors be sponsors.
well, not sponsored, but I'm just saying that to give them the naming of, we got the naming rights now, 10 grand for a cage or cat cage, so they get the name on there, but then they don't charge us for the food they provide us, or whatever it may be, but were you involved in that research? Or who's telling us no?
Yeah, there's some procurement rules that I think we can.
Okay, was that
cover
procurement telling us
in,
that?
So,
Can we
it
have the
is-
attorneys look at that?
sure, we'll
Because
take a look at
I
it.
wanted to
Yeah.
trade out the asphalt, the paving, 75,000 and give somebody the name, and they're just, it seems like that would be easy for people who provide that type of stuff to get their name on there and then just don't charge us. And that's the same thing. I
What
still
about getting
think we could-
sponsors, people we do business with outside of animal service?
Well, we could
Like
do
this
that.
Christopher Knight, we give them every contract. They have a lot of contracts with
I
DuPage
didn't, well, it's
County.
Christopher Burke probably or
Yeah.
Okay.
Or
whatever.
Knight Engineer.
No, you know my
Engineer.
point.
Yeah,
You know
no.
my point. My point is they get a lot of money from DuPage
Oh, I'm
County.
sure there's stormwater
So
work that was done.
let's have
there.
a-
and
Well,
those
they're
are
very good to environmental causes, so,
But
Yeah.
let's.
yeah, no, that's,
What's the same
I
So,
thing?
and that's
totally
the
agree.
wonderful thing about working with DuPage Animal Friends. They will be looking for sponsorships at the gala for companies to buy full tables. And those are the types of organizations that if anybody has a connection
Nick does.
to encourage them to either become a sponsor partner.
Well, that's
with
what I think.
DuPage
You just
Animal
tell them sponsor the
Friends
cage for 10 grand and then give them a table
Yeah.
at the gala.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
About this $4,500,000 is that I know it's a loan from our general fund, but I really appreciate that Laura has the foresight and her team has the foresight to do some of the things like the re-roofing so that they're not coming back to us in 5 years and say, oops, we need a new roof. I really appreciate that you're getting all this done at once. So we had a big meeting last Tuesday about surplus funds.
Well,
mhm.
keep in mind in the surplus, you guys voted for $500,000 of that going to animal services, so.
That was a
you-
while ago.
You are doing, well, you guys took the.
That was a
the
while
vote-
ago.
I mean, that the chair mentioned that in September, but you guys confirmed it.
Thumbs up.
What this does is simply gives a backstop. I mean, and if you remember, the board already approved the 4.5, it got
Right. We
rescinded.
did.
This is
But we
much
can change things.
more favorable terms that, ultimately as a board, if there's more surplus, if there's anything, that's always an option that you as a board have.
What's the favorable terms on this versus the old? one?
The payback, it's just before, if you remember, the old one had a set payback amount. This one gives more latitude. It's not as aggressive of a payback. And that's, I think it's beneficial. I mean, you can pay back more if you guys get fundraising, but it doesn't require you to. So it's just a kind of a longer, easier payback.
So my question is, I had to leave early on Tuesday. Well, not early, it was already 12:15. So I didn't finish hear the whole conversation, but were there any surplus funds left over from your presentation?
Out of the 18.9, no, it was allocated by the board.
Well,
So
any
everybody-
leftover surplus is going to the retention. There'll be
Yeah.
more than 18.9.
Yeah. Yeah,
Just a thought.
yeah.
Trying to get more money for you, Laura.
And so your thought is good. I mean, keep in mind, this project is gonna go into toward the end of 2024. And by the time you punch list and retention and all that, you could be looking at, are there funds in 2024 surplus? So it's a long project. We can look at, and we're working closely, different departments. That's always an option too, even though we're hoping construction is, September, October, November, closing out contracts are gonna be longer than that, and payments are gonna be longer than that. And even if there is a loan, let's say that there is a loan at the end for 2 million, you raise 2.5 million, and there's surplus at the end of 24, 25, you can always take that surplus and pay off the loan.
And erased her.
Well, I guess the
Right.
question is,
Well, I like that idea,
what's the
Nick.
board feel? Like, I mean, because I think originally, Nick, there was 100 grand that was gonna go there. I had confidence we're gonna raise more than what we
Well, I
need.
just really like the idea, or I appreciate the idea that they're not gonna be coming back and asking us for more money for a roof in a couple
No,
of
but I
years.
meant originally before the meeting last Tuesday, staff was, I think you recommended 100,000.
Well, we had 500 plus 100.
Plus, well, we recommend another 100,000, but I had confidence that we're gonna raise the money, so we actually pulled it off of there. And I think Cindy was not for it, she wants to raise the baby tax. But again, what's the thought that I've talked for you, but there was originally 100,000, which staff was recommending to put in a surplus, so I don't know how you guys feel about that. We didn't even bring it up on the floor.
Whatever they need is probably where I'm at on this.
Me
If
too.
you've got a legitimate, if you're laying it out, that it's something that's needed and we can, approve those funds 100%.
I'm with Sheila.
I'm for any money, but I think we've got a long ways to go. We've got the fundraising, the gala. I'd love to see how that all turns out. So I think, one step at a time. That's kind of how I feel.
Just let, you said I'm for money.
Oh, I'm always for money.
Yes.
Right.
So can I circle back? So currently there are no plans to put solar panels on that new roof.
Yeah, that's what I was putting.
Right, so a lot of this comes down to funding. We do have a donor, I think you and I spoke about that, that has offered to, they've pledged to support.
And then Jeff?
Mhm.
Okay,
They
oh, awesome.
pledged to support a solar project. But of course, it doesn't cover the full expenses of what we would need to, because we're also doing EV, we're
What's the
prepping
cost
for
of
EV
that?
charging stations and of the solar piece of it, I don't.
Are you saying the solar panels themselves, if you were to put solar on?
Yeah, if we put solar on.
Yeah, I don't even think
So,
but I don't
we
even.
don't
put
budget
that
it
out. Yeah.
For comparison purposes, here in 421 is about 440,000. I wouldn't think the array would be quite as big over there. I don't think you have enough space. And I would say that if you move solar, which I think it's a good idea, once we get the roof lined out, I would do a completely separate contract because it's a separate, body of work, and you won't have the markup from the prime. I would do like what we're doing on 421 where we put it out separately if we get to that point. So if we have really good fundraising at the gala, we can always move forward on that.
Hate to let a new roof go to waste.
And how much is a new roof over there, do you think, ish?
Well, that's part of your extra you guys approved.
Okay,
So
is at
you-
the gala, we can say who would like to donate a
Sponsor
roof,
us.
Yeah.
sponsor the roof.
It's
Yeah.
almost $200,000
The
for
ga-
the
I
new
mean, the
roof.
gala's not
And
gonna
then
be,
the infrastructure for the solar's almost another $50,000.
the 300,000 is nothing for the gala. It's gonna, the capital campaigns.
Right,
Where the-
yeah, the gala's
When are
just
they,
one.
when are they starting that?
Yeah, they literally just signed the contract last week with the fundraisers, so.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, and then you sent me those pricings, so that's available now?
There's nothing live on a website, yeah,
But-
they just hired her last week, so
No, I
I don't think the
understand.
materials are all together
Oh,
yet.
well, it doesn't matter. Materials are-
Yeah.
I mean, somebody could come forward
Of
today and
course.
say, I want the 10,000 for the.
Yes, and
gala."
I am always available for any meetings, yes.
Well, I know, that's-
Regarding
Yeah,
money.
no, I can
Especially
really,
when
because I can speak to what we do,
Oh,
I
yeah.
can speak to what the project's gonna, how that's gonna change, how we're providing services to people in the community,
That's why we're.
yeah,
I'm sure you're available anytime.
anytime.
Those-
Except next week, I'm on vacation next week.
But
Right.
so
Next week.
those are, we're not gonna change them, and those are live, and so,
Correct,
okay.
yes, yeah.
Because that's where that's what we gotta see how we do it. That's what the money.
Right.
All right. No, I got it.
You got that? Okay.
No, because I've already started making,
Started making phone calls?
yes. I just want to make sure that's not gonna change.
No.
Any other questions on this, either one of these old business? Any new business?
I have a new business.
Sure.
I don't know if it's new or old. So, I watch all the strays, I share all of that on Facebook. They're all coming from West Chicago. What can we do about that?
So West Chicago, we've, over the past year plus, we've hosted special events in that community to do outreach. We even did a dedicated microchipping event there. We offer free programming when we're going into the schools and our park districts. We've done that in West Chicago. We're open to whatever we can do to try to get some of those animals at a minimum microchipped. But yes, we see a significantly large number. from
And
West
most of
Chicago.
them are intact.
Yes, yes.
Are
yeah.
they strays or are they animals that was?
I think that
So to
it's cultural
clarify,
that they let their dogs roam.
So they're not like, I don't want Spot anymore, I'm just gonna let him
No,
out.
I'm just gonna let them out.
Are we returning most of them?
Yeah, that's a
yeah,
good
if you'd
question.
like, I can get you some numbers. I can email you some numbers about what we're seeing from West Chicago. I know that's your district. And what our return to owner rate is.
Okay, yeah, would you please?
Yeah.
And maybe we
Because
can
there's
reach
no-
out to them, even mayor, whatever events they have to get us more. I know we market to that, but they probably know the events that have the people that they could help us.
Yeah,
bring
Yeah.
us.
happy to reach out to West Chicago about that too,
Great.
because it's like, again.
Yeah.
It's like,
So.
Maybe we should put a program together, we bring the van out there in the summer to provide the service for.
That's a great idea.
That's seriously just, at our cost to just have.
Find out what
and if-
festivals
if
are
most of
there
them are
in the summer.
intact, it's just saying if they're,
Yeah,
they're intact
and
and
we
they're.
used to have a landscaper that lived next door to us, had 3 male chihuahuas, none of them were neutered, and I'm like, what, they're, like, oh, no, can't do that, so.
Well, we don't know if it's, yeah.
Well, again, I think it's cultural.
Right.
I'll also get you numbers of like where our vouchers
Are being
are
spent.
being
Yeah,
spent.
well,
Yeah,
some of them may
I can
not
do that
qualify
too.
for
Yeah,
the
let's see
vouchers,
if
and
we
maybe
can
we
do
do a
that.
free
Yeah.
day where we sign up just to have a ton.
Yeah.
Especially with winter.
And we've gotten the West Chicago Police Department some additional resources, so we gave them free microchip scanners, some leads, we've given them carriers.
Cool.
Yeah, because we see them so frequently, we've got a good relationship with their community service officers.
All right, any other old or new business?
Did we go over the capital campaigning?
The naming of, I think we missed
Yeah.
that one.
Oh, I said any other questions on the old business, but let's go back there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, did we get any more information on that, or is it just the same?
So,
Yeah, whatever we got there.
Okay.
yeah, so our state's attorney made a couple small tweaks to it. There weren't some major ones. I have a copy of it. Yeah. A lot of it, Trevor had to do, you want to speak to like what the language changes were from what I had drafted
Yeah,
originally?
so most of the changes were regarding exactly what the policy says regarding animal friends. And just kind of clears up some, not us directing them to take action, but us more focusing on, all right, somebody's gonna be a donor, then what's our policy as to like what that plaque, like what can be on the plaque, stuff like that.
Oh,
And just kind of essentially cleaning up, I both, my office saw some more problematic language on directing animal friends. Essentially, if there is a consensus on this board to go forward with that policy, I think what I'm gonna talk to Laura is getting it approved by the board on the 28th, so 1 week from today,
okay.
and just charging the committee on it.
Is there a new policy?
Yeah,
Like
I
how,
don't even think there was a.
there wasn't a policy to
Okay.
begin with.
can I have
Sorry.
this? Can I keep this piece of paper?
Yeah, you can.
Thank you. And is there have we discussed prices? Like if you give so much, the whole building is named after you?
Yeah, so
And
that
if you
direction is,
Opening is worth blah, blah, blah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
so that direction's in
Okay,
coordination
gotcha.
with
Can I have
DuPage.
this too?
Okay, yeah, with,
Another one?
yep, with DuPage Animal Friends
Okay,
and,
Well, I don't think we named the whole building because it's a 4.5 million person. didn't
Right,
want
we're
it
just-
named.
Yeah.
But there are, I think there's $1 million one out there, a couple of $500,000.
All
all right.
Hasn't
I
changed
yeah, I
last
haven't
time.
seen this yet.
no,
so
I
thank
didn't.
you.
Okay,
Oh, I
so we
see the
got it
new-
before then.
Yeah.
okay.
Can we unname stuff?
You as a board can name and unname by resolution.
Okay, so like we could unname the care center, right? And then, but these ones that are 10-year contracts, we can't do anything with it. We sign it,
Thank you.
right?
Yes,
because I
and
got
there's-
that.
You're pledging to have 10 years.
It depends with how it's written in the resolution, the naming resolution.
Okay, because I mean, I saw this, it's like a 10-year for the cages, it's like 10 years.
Yeah, and so part of
Some were
that,
20 years.
and so part of that will be depending on the contract that the donors are gonna be signing with the Animal Friends. So the policy contemplates, you know, if notorious acts, certain grounds for revoking, naming rights, which would be done by resolution. But again, that's also gonna be, it's contemplated in the policy, and then we just need to make sure that it's in the contracts.
I just,
Before
we
actually
gave $2
signing.
million, somebody gave us $2 million, and I don't know how much, we just put 34 million in that thing across the street. I mean, we spent so much money, $2 million, got the whole name on the building.
I
Not a
think it was there
fan of that.
beforehand.
Well, no, it wasn't. We did that. We gave them
But
$2
the
million.
policy does address the
We also
ability
lost
to
the
who's
quorum as
maintaining
well.
certain
Got it.
facts, how do we
So I think we
remove
stand-
facts.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
I like getting a vote on that.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
saying.
so we're still in session.
You can adjourn. It's just
Or we actually got adjourned.